Forest society and colonialism. History, social study. Question and answer. 1. Discuss how the changes in forest management in the colonial period affected the following groups of people. 1. Shifting cultivators. 2. Nomadic and pastoralistic communities. 3. Farms trading and timber forest produce. 4. Plantation owners. 5. Kings, British official engaged in hunting. Answer. 1. Shifting cultivator practice slash and burn agriculture. In this practice, parts of the forests are cut and burned in rotation. European foresters regarded this practice as harmful for the forest. They felt that such land could not be used for growing trees for railway timber and was dangerous while being burnt as it could start a forest fire. This type of cultivation also made difficult for the government to calculate taxes. Thus, colonial government banned shifting cultivation. As a result, many communities were forcibly displaced from their homes in the forest. Some had to change occupations, while some resisted through large and small rebellion. 2. The reservation of the forest areas by the British government also sealed the fate of many nomadic and pastoral communities. The Korawa, Karacha, and the Uricula of the Madras Presidency lost their means of livelihood. Earlier, these people and their cattle depended totally on the forest from which they were deprived because of the new forest management. Some of these communities began to be called criminal tribes and were forced to work in the factories, mines, and plantation under government supervision. Thus, these people were forced to operate within new system and reorganize their lives. Third, farms trading and timber products were given the sole trading rights to trade in the forest products of a particular area. They made huge profits and became richer. The entire timber and the forest trade passed on to them. They became powerful and began to cut down the trees indiscriminately. 4. Plantation owners found that more and more forest land could be cleared for plantation. The British had made it very clear that their system of forestry would be scientific forestry. Example, plantation. Plantation owners began to reap profit as the British government gave large areas of forest land to European planters. 5. While the forest dwellers were deprived to hunt deer, partridges, and a variety of small animals, Indian kings and the British officials were allowed to hunt freely. Forests. Under the colonial rule, the hunting increased to such an extent that various species became extinct. A large number of tigers, leopard, wolves were killed as sporting trophy. Hunting or shikar became a sport. Later, the environmentalists and the conservators realized many species of animals needed to be protected and not killed. 2. What are the similarities between colonial management of the forest in Bussar and in Java? Answer. The similarities between colonial management of the forest in Bussar and Java were: forest laws were enacted in Java and Bussar. These laws restricted villagers' access to forest. Timber could be cut from only specified forests and under close supervision. Villagers were punished for entering forests and collecting forest products without permit. Permits were issued to the villagers for entry into forests and collections of forest products. Both had a forest services. Both followed a system of forestry which was known as specific forestry. In both places, forest acts meant severe hardship of villagers. Their everyday practice, cutting wood for their houses, grazing and cattle, collecting fruits and roots, hunting and fishing, became illegal. Constable and forest guards began to harass people. 3. Between 1880 and 1920, forests covered in the Indian subcontinent declined by 9.7 million hectares from 108.6 million hectares to 98.9 million hectares. Discuss the role of the following factors in this decline. First, railways. Second, shipbuilding. Third, agriculture expansion. Fourth, commercial farming. 5. Tea, coffee plantation. 6. Adivasis and other peasant users? Answer. 1. Railway played a vital role in the decline of the forest cover in India. For laying railway track, forest land had to be cleared. Apart from clearing area for tracks, railway locomotives required timber for fuel and sleepers. For all these needs, forests had to be cut down. The British government gave contracts to individuals to supply the required quantity of timber. These individuals cut down trees indiscriminately. Second, by the end of the 19th century, oak forests in England had almost disappeared. This created a shortage of timber for the Royal Navy. If the imperial power was to be protected and maintained, the buildings of ships was the first priority. So search parties were sent to explore the forest resources of India. A large number of slippers began to be exported to England annually. This further led to the indiscriminating cutting of trees years after year, which caused deforestation on a massive scale. Third, populations was on the rise and the demand for food increased. Peasants extended the boundaries of cultivation by clearing forests. This gave them more land available for cultivation, and in addition, there was great demand for cash crops such as tea, cotton, jute, sugar, etc., which were needed to feed the industries of England. 4. The British directly encouraged the productions of commercial crops like jute, sugar, wheat, and cotton. The demand for these crops increased in the 19th century. In Europe, where food grains were needed to feed the growing urban population and raw materials were required for industrial production, hence large tracts of forest land were cleared to make land available for commercial farming. 5. The colonial state thought that the forest land was unproductive. It did not yield agricultural produce nor revenues. Large areas of natural forests were hence cleared to make way for tea, coffee, and rubber plantation to meet Europe's growing need for these commodities. The colonial government took over the forests and gave vast areas to European planters at cheap rates. These areas were enclosed and cleared of forests and planted with the tea or coffee. 6. The Adivasi and the other peasants users gathered forest products and grazed their cattle. Their livelihood mainly came from forest produce. This does not destroy the forest except sometimes in shifting agriculture. In fact, now the new trends that promote forest conservation tend into to involve local villagers in conservational and preventional. The Adivasi and the other peasant communities regard the forests as their own and even engage watchmen to keep a vigil over their forest. 4. Why are forests affected by wars? Answer. Forests are affected by wars and this often leads to deforestation. Forests during wars are freely cut to meet the needs of wars. Forests are as important resources and hence during wars they are destroyed by their own country under their scorched earth policy. This prevents the enemy from using the resources. Many villagers use this opportunity to expand cultivation in the forest. If you like the video, don't forget to press the like button and subscribe the channel for more videos. Thank you.